Hey guys, Peter here to do an album review. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about the brand new record from Combichrist, One Fire, out June 7th on Out of Line Music. This album has 13 tracks, 51 minutes in length, and it's the band's 9th studio album. Now, this album has a wide range of emotions and sounds, really from the first track to the last track. You just feel like you're getting pulled in different directions, and that is because not only of the nature of the lyrics, the emotions that those bring out, but also the nature of the sound on this record. Listening to this album, I really felt connected to it, and I honestly was surprised by the fact that it didn't sound repetitive. I was really expecting the album to perhaps have tracks that fall into the same structure, same style. This is not the case with this album. I really felt that from song to song, there was a lot of uniqueness to each single track, that there was a lot of new characteristics introduced to tracks that weren't introduced before and that didn't get introduced later on down the record. So that to me was extremely pleasurable and just made the listening experience a lot better. When you look at the structure of this album with an intro track and an interlude in the middle, it really feels to me that this is an album that's divided into two, almost playing like it would a vinyl or a tape versus a digital download. I really get that sensation that the album is really created out of two pieces. And it's also the way it's structured, the way the songs are structured, because I really felt that the first couple of songs on, let's say, side A, are a lot heavier, and then they become a lot more methodic and melodic. And then after the interlude, which I would call side B, it starts off with more methodic, more melodic tracks, and then they become heavier towards the bitter end of the record. So almost like the record starts heavy and then has a dip and then it finishes off strong again. But I really like that structure. I like how it was structured. I like how it sounds. I like how it feels. And like I said, it really feels like you're listening to side A and side B on a record versus just listening to a whole record like as you would on a digital download. So that kind of structure always also adds something different. It adds something new to the album, and it adds a rejuvenated vibe and look and feel in how you can put a record together. Now, overall, this is not just it. There are a few other caveats on this record. There are a few other throw-ins that allow this record to have that fluidity, that wide range of emotions and sounds. I'll start off by saying Burton C. Bell from Fear Factory. He does some guest vocals on Guns at Last Dawn. That to me is the heavier track on the album, a really heavy riff-driven song, industrial song. And to me, it just has a lot of heaviness to it. It has a lot of anger to it. It has a lot of bravado to it, and I really like it. One of the heavier tracks on the album, if not, in my opinion, it is the heaviest track on the album. Also, they included a cover of the Dead Kennedy song, California Uber Alice. That is really cool. I was not expecting that at all. So that comes towards the later end of side B. I really like that song. I really like what they did with the cover, but I'll talk more about that when I break down some of the songs. On top of that, they did a remake of Bottle of Pain, a song that was released before in the Underworld Awakening soundtrack. So I really like the fact that they included these little caveats, because on a record with 13 tracks, two of them, one being an intro, the other one being the interlude, so it really leaves you with 11 tracks. You really need to create distractions. You need to create things that create different sound, that create different dynamics, that pull the listener into different paths. And this album does that, not only because of these little caveats, these little nuggets that they threw into the record, but also how the record is structured and then how the songs sound. The songs really connect with the listener. I really feel that almost everybody will find one or two songs on this record at least that they will connect with, because there's something there for everybody. There's some songs that are more electronic based, there's some songs that are more industrial guitar riff driven based, and then there's some that kind of fall in between, and some of them fall absolutely nowhere. So there's a little bit for everybody. Almost like they looked back at all of their previous 8 records and decided to pick the things that they enjoyed the most from those 8 records, and then created a record that had a feel, a vibe of a greatest hits without being a greatest hits. That is the exact vibe that I get when I sit down to listen to this record. Overall, this is a very complete record, very unique in sound, with a lot of different dynamics, a lot of things pulling you in different directions, a very well orchestrated, a very well crafted record from Combichrist. I really enjoyed this One Fire album. Really well done from them. Now, as far as songs are concerned, I picked 3 songs that for some reason really spoke to me, and I want to start with Vulcan United. Perhaps the anthem track on this album has an extremely catchy chorus with a great guitar riff behind it, a heavy guitar riff behind it. The combination of that catchiness of the chorus with that great guitar riff really creates a very strong and pungent chorus. I really like the chorus of this song because of it. It's one of those songs that absolutely, once you start listening and it goes on loop, you just cannot get enough of it. It has all of those vibes that you really want to see from the band transport from the studio to the live. And I think this is one of those songs, if they decide to go with it live, it will work really well, because it has a lot of aggressiveness, it has a lot of heaviness, it has that industrial guitar sound to it, and overall, like I said, it's built, it's constructed like an anthem. So I think it will work really well in a live setting. It also includes some clean vocals, and to me, those clean vocals make the song sound even heavier, because it strips down the song, it brings your ears to a completely reset, and then when the song becomes heavy again, it just sounds 10 times heavier than it did before the clean vocals. So I really like how they constructed this track. The next one is Bottle of Pain. Like I said before, this is a little bit of a remake. They switched, they tweaked it. Let's put it this way. They tweaked a few things on this song. This came out, I believe, back in 2012, part of the Underworld Awakening soundtrack. And this is a pure ballad. It is a pure ballad. I absolutely love the lyrics, how dark the lyrics on this song are, how absolutely amazingly dark and ominous the lyrics are. The acoustic guitar is absolutely beautiful. It adds to that darkness. But it also adds another element. It adds a little bit of a folk western vibe to the song. The song almost feels like it could be taken out of a Quentin Tarantino movie, like a western style movie. It has all of the perfect elements to fit in a movie score, which it did. But to me, the way it's constructed now, it really fits in a western movie. It has that folk western vibe to it, mostly coming from the acoustic guitar, but not only. They also included these symphonic elements in the background, this orchestration in the background that really gives the song a movie score feel to it. So you really have you have three components at play in this song. You have the absolutely amazing vocals and the lyrics that come with those vocals. You have the acoustic guitar that really sets that folkiness. It sets that western vibe to the song. And then you have the symphonic element that just gives the song this larger than life feel, this cinematic vibe all the way through from the beginning to the end. Last but not least, I have to talk about this cover song, California Uber Alice, a cover from the Dead Kennedys. I really like what they did with this cover. Excellent cover. They made the song darker and heavier than the original. They put their Combichrist DNA on the song, if you will, but they still strayed true to the original as far as the vibe, as the mood of the song is concerned. And considering the current political environment that we live in the world that we live in today, this song makes total sense, and it's a song that still it will resonate with a new audience now. Perhaps an audience that doesn't even listen to the Dead Kennedys or knows about the Dead Kennedys will not even know that this is a cover. So I think this is going to be one of those songs that's really going to resonate with a young audience, because you can connect the lyrics of the song and the way the song comes at you and the way they created it, or recreated, should I say, really allows you to connect with it and really it feels fresh, it feels modern, it feels like it's not dated at all. I absolutely love this cover. It was one of the songs that the moment I went through the record immediately spoke to me, because it just had, it still had a little bit of punk in it. It still had a little bit of that irreverence, that youthful irreverence in it, but then it had the band's own stamp and the band's own DNA on it. So I really enjoyed this cover. Alright guys, this is Combichrist, One Fire, out June 7th on Out of Line Music. Let me know your thoughts on the band and the record in the comment section below. I'll be reading those and getting back to you. Take care guys.